Hello, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the fence. It's a cookout, and I be flossing.
It really do be like that sometimes.
Oh, what slavery? This is our weird little podcast that I think we're doing because we lost our sense of self-worth within actual analytical freedoms. Is this going on my channel?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay, that's tight. So
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm gonna do then, because there's like these 3 Skyrim videos, right?
Yeah.
That I lost, that didn't record any audio for, and it made me cry when I found that out because it was really funny. So I'm probably just gonna put that over those 3 Skyrim videos, and then because they were all side quests, thank God.
Okay.
It was just me killing Braith's parents. Really.
So do you want to redo the intro and just introduce you and then me that way, or?
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
All right.
Well,
Do it again.
wait, redo it or?
We'll
Oh,
keep this
thought-
recording going, but just start the.
I thought this was a tight intro.
I brought up
Okay.
shit.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to the other side of the fence. I am Karionyte Gaming, call me Parker, Kari, Cage, or anything of the sort, and I'm here with my boy.
Aiden, Bluecouchproductions. What's up, fam?
Now we can all agree that he stole my name, but anyway,
Okay.
we've been friends for a long time. Oh, well, friends is a strong word. We work together. And,
More of associates is the term I prefer
yes,
using.
so he's great, but we haven't actually done anything together. Fucking ever. Even though right after we met, we said we should collab, and we just didn't.
Yeah.
So we were like, hey, let's just do this.
Yeah, we literally, for context, came up with this podcast about
5
20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
not that long ago.
Yeah, because I just had enough time to get snacks, and I was like, yeah, fuck it.
And that was it. And the name was literally just a list of random names that we went through and was like, oh, the other side of the fence. That sounds funny. Let's go with that one.
And the other choices were equally as beautiful and just like
A little more sexual in nature.
I'm tempted to give them a good taste, but oh god, that sounded.
Give them a good taste would have been a good podcast title too. I like that one as well.
Well, want to do the honors and give them a good taste?
Okay, yeah. So possible names for this podcast include, but are not limited to, 2 bros, 1 mic, gangbang time, an orgy of discussions, dicking around, Adam Sandler's The Jack and Jill Experience, I'm mining. It really do be like that sometimes. I don't feel so good. Life is an inescapable vortex of death and despair. Give me the podcast, daddy. Peanut butter and sardines. Damn it, Bobby. The South rises. What slavery? He eating beans. Hit or miss. So my wife took the kids. How I Met Your Parker. That relatable moment when you nut. Cleanup crew. Ham in a cup. And last but not least, he thick boy. He thick. Yeah. So we decided on this one.
Little stuff like this to just mwah, you know?
So, I guess for all you listeners at home who may be asking, what can I expect from this podcast? And the short answer to that is nothing. Don't expect anything from this.
Not only is it a podcast that's not even good enough to show up on podcasts on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Or on your Android if you don't have taste. But, we're just being here, talking about stuff, and just
Chilling
growing
out.
out.
Yeah, pretty much it. Me and Parker are going to hang out, get to know each other a little bit more, form a friendship, and then star in gay porn together is the big dream.
Form a friendship? What are you talking about? What have we been doing for the past 2 years?
Talking.
Damn.
But welcome to
those
episode
news.
1. We're here.
Oh, fuck you.
The inaugural episode to cut Parker off. What are we talking about, Parker?
We're talking about 2 topics today. We have entitlement versus expectation. Is it wrong for fans to get angry because they didn't get what they want?
Yeah.
And then 4th wall breaks in media. Are they cheap? We 100% came up with these ideas ourselves.
They are original and new, and no one has ever brought them up before. Or
because because they took it from us. It's like we are Yai and they are the lie. So
If you steal our ideas, we're copy striking you, so you better watch out.
100%. You better watch out. You better watch out.
You better watch out. I love that meme. It is so good.
It gives me faith in the world sometimes because I don't have much of that. So, let's have a good example of entitlement in the nerd culture.
In the nerd culture? You sound like Zach. Let's talk about nerd culture.
Are you an everyday nerd? Like, fuck you.
Oh, Zach listens to this and gets this part. He's
not like in Twilight looking ass.
Well, fuck you too, man.
Fake friend.
Nerd culture is such a funny phrase, isn't it? Like, originally it was just like, if you were a nerd, you were underground, right? And so you talked about the stuff no one talked about. And now we're in a phase where, like, nerds are a thing, and they're celebrated, and we get to hear a lot about them. But since then, we developed the phrase nerd culture, and I don't know if I feel good about it or not. It's kind of weird. Feel me? I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
I do. It's kind of like we've just grown as a medium.
Right.
Kind of like how you know how a collaboration will typically happen through YouTube these days, and it's not really a big deal. It's like, oh yeah, we just needed subs. A long time ago, they had to make like real friendships before they could collaborate.
Yeah.
And I learned how long I've been in YouTube specifically because I still use this term, YouTube friends, which is something nobody says anymore. And apparently, like I did this collab with this guy who had a bunch of subscribers more than I did, and he said, "Man, you said YouTube friends. How long have you been in this?" And I was like, "Damn,
you're old."
It's crazy." Because like I'm not even that old, but I definitely was around when YouTube started. I just wasn't around when YouTube started. So,
yeah. Like
I wasn't on YouTube personally, but yeah.
I know Zach has said the phrase "YouTube friends" several times to count.
Well, yeah.
But it's just the sort of lingo we've adopted, like nerd culture, YouTube friends.
Are
shit
you an
like
everyday
that.
nerd?
Your everyday nerd, whatever. Like, it doesn't make sense in a normal context, but...
Your everyday turd, shitty show. I'm just gross.
LOL.
I'm eating ham in a cup.
You are, actually.
I'm probably gonna die of heart disease.
He has a literal just cut full of ham in it, and I don't know where to be confused or aroused. It's a tough battle going on.
I guess you could say I'm going ham.
That's true. It's true, huh?
I'm just gonna stroke my pop socket. That's how God feels. So
anyway, main topic.
Entitlement. Entitlement in nerd culture is very, very apparent. I mean, College Humor invented a game show to represent how fucking entitled nerds are.
That's true.
Actually. Granted, I want little more in my life than to be on actually, because that would have been badass, and I get all the questions right, so it's fine. But actually is there's two words that perfectly sum up how assholic nerds get.
Yeah, and what I found fascinating about this topic in general is that, like, it's not only talking about entitlement, but entitlement versus expectation, which in a lot of senses, they're similar words, and they have a lot of the same meaning, but there seems to be a fine line between expecting something and being hyped for something, and then on the other worse end of it, of being entitled for something and demanding, like, you deserve this thing. And I feel like the further we've gone on, especially with, like, video games as of recent, of, like, people just demanding all this sort of shit, and they're like, if this isn't included in this game, I'm not gonna buy it, or whatever, or shit like that, just causing a huge shitstorm online. I'm like, this is such shitty behavior. Like, how did we get to this point? But you see it everywhere. You see it with YouTube videos, you see it with comic books, you see it with movies, adaptations. I'm sure somebody is entitled about something about young Sheldon. I don't know. It's just,
Sheldon's bad. Not that bad, actually.
It's just become such a mainstream thing now where, like, we expect a lot from the media we consume, and sometimes that's a little bit too much or a little unrealistic.
We as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. Bad start. Um, but we as people tend to expect what we were given the first time.
Right.
And more. And it's kind of hard to deal with.
Right.
Because look at sequel syndrome. How often do you get something that's just as good and better?
Not often.
When it's there, is it great? Sometimes sequels are tolerable. Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're even good. How often do you get a great sequel?
Not often. Not often
Man,
at all.
we want that. Like, okay, so I'm gonna hit you up with a game that has an amazing expectation that it just has an amazing situation with entitlement and expectation.
Okay.
So, Little Big Planet.
Oh, fun game.
Considering I was a Sony boy for a long time, these were my favorite games. Like Little Big Planet 1 and 2, maybe some of the closest things to my heart and my imagination.
Great video game.
Because they really opened up my heart a lot. And Little Big Planet 2, when that came out, it was just like Little Big Planet 1, but even better. Like, they added voice acting and movies and just beauty beyond measure and just all these new physics, and it just made it so different but so the same. And it didn't take any core concepts away. But then Little Big Planet 3 came around, and Mondo Media, or whatever it's MM Studios, got kicked out of the picture, and they were replaced with like Ninja or something, or some other company that wasn't ready for it. And they added like a bunch of layers. That was cool. They added new characters. That was weird. But they tried, and they failed. Because the community surrounding it, miffed by the slight core functions that are different, the things that really built up that creativity, the bugs that were just not refined, broke it. And we were at a point in time, we didn't expect Little Big Planet 2 to succeed the way it did. We didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Right, that we would even get a third game.
Not at all. And then when we got Little Big Planet 2, we loved it so much that we felt that if we get this third game, it'd be like Little Big Planet 2, but even better.
Right.
We thought we'd be entitled to perfection like we were before. But changes happened, and we lost that. And that really broke a lot of hearts.
It's interesting, that sequel thing that you brought up, because, like, no one expects much of a new IP, of a first game or a first movie, because you have no preconceived notion of like what it should be and how it should operate. But as soon as like a game or a movie becomes a franchise, it's sort of when we reach that point where like, all right, how do we make it better and better, right? And that's when we start forming ideas and expectations, right? Of like, oh, they should add this, and they should add that, and they should add this. And sometimes they might succeed. Like, there's some games with some, like, really good sequels. And other times, like, things get too big, they have too much on their plate, and they, like, burst under all that pressure that wasn't needed at all in the first place. Like, we caused that, and we're part of the problem. And that can be really, really shitty to deal with, especially the more popular you get. Like, I imagine trying to come out with, like, a new Mario game, a new Call of Duty, a new Battlefield, even a new Halo, in this day and age, with the amount of clout that you have, and the amount of success you have, how you even follow up something like that without expectations going through the fucking roof when you even try something new.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
And I wish we invested more time in new IPs.
Yeah, we should.
Because that's what, invest couldn't have been a better word for us to use. Because there just isn't a better word than that. Because consider real life investments with money.
Mm-hmm.
One of the richest men in the world got all of his money from just investing smart.
Right.
He was one of the first people to invest in Twitter and Snapchat and Uber and other shit. Took off. He's a billionaire. Because he just thought about something different, something new. And he saw some potential there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wish we had. And I wish there were better new IPs. But I feel that since we don't really let them come from the ground, we never get a chance to see what they can do.
Right, like the new IPs that we pay attention to have to be from like a well-established company, right? Like it has to be something Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, or like Blizzard, or like some big company is doing. Very rarely do we care about like, what's this indie team working on, or what's this new project, or whatever. Like, nobody gives a shit about that. We're more concerned with the franchises and the already established shit, which, you know, that's cool and all, but frankly, I find that mindset to get a little boring after a while, right? Especially if you don't allow creators to experiment a bit more with those sequels and try new things and be able to surprise you. The element of surprise in today's internet age, and especially with entitlement and expectation, has practically killed any element of like surprise in games or creativity or trying something new. Because why bother innovating? Why bother trying something different and unique when everybody just expects you to do the same shit over again? Like, you know, there's no incentive to do better. And that's shitty. That's on us.
And the weird thing is that, like, this kind of comes back to Little Big Planet again. Because that was made by a studio that I don't even think fucking exists anymore. I'm gonna be straight up, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they shut down NN. Because I don't know why they'd make such a drastic change in publisher and developer. But that was something we never heard of. It became a franchise, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But just letting something like that start and get off of its feet was magical.
Right.
Like, just okay, like, how interesting does it sound? It's like, oh yeah, so you play as like a fucking... you're just a sack. You're just like a sack guy, a burlap sack man, and you just fucking do stuff and create, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's Little Big Planet. You're just like, okay, so 1, stop smoking whatever you're smoking, or 2, give it to me. Step 3, no, and step 4, you're fired for smoking.
See you later.
But no. Then they made it, and then if you were really good, what the hell? And now, I'm pretty sure that even though Little Big Planet 4 isn't going to happen, heartbreaking, by the way,
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that Sackboy is still the mascot of Sony.
Yeah, one of, for sure.
For the impact that it left on us. Because, yeah, Crash Bandicoot kind of came out of nowhere. So Sonic and Mario had somebody to like oof at, but after that, Sony didn't have a face. And after Little Big Planet came out, it grew and made such a community behind itself, and such a family dynamic with like appealing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can find some messed up shit in Little Big Planet, and that's what's even better. But then you find that to be different and nice. And you kind of wish we still had something like that, but we don't, and it sucks.
Right. And it's hard for a series like that, like the third time around, to be like, all right, give me the same magic I got the first time I saw this, when I originally discovered it, when I had no idea or expectation of what it should be. Right? Like, that's asking a lot out of a game. Sometimes to an unreasonable degree, and I don't think like expectations in and of themselves are a bad idea. I feel like us as fans kind of have to keep developers in line and like try not to go off the deep end and like radically experiment with every new game in a franchise, because that's shitty too, and there needs to be like some form of structure there. And bad games are still bad games, right? Entitlement or expectation doesn't change any of that. But with like bigger series and like good developers who know what they're doing, maybe like letting them do what they do best is a better idea and strategy than us having to fiddle around and everything. Is all I'm saying. That's my argument.
I think I'm really in my feels about Little Big Planet today. I don't know why, it just keeps coming up in my head because of this. But I feel like for some reason it paints the right picture. And
yeah, I think it was a good example.
I'm gonna be real. Either I need to get this Roxio working, or I'm gonna have to find some way to emulate a PS3, because It's been my plan to let's play. So a long time ago, I made a list of 10 games. Well, technically 11, but we're gonna say 10. My top, technically 11 favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And Little Big Planet is like 3 and 7 respectively. 2 being 3, and then 7 being 1. Because, well, 1 was amazing, but 2, my God, was amazing. I want to Let's Play all of these, and I'm trying to remember some of them. They're really good. But I feel that I just want to impact the world with that same magic. And that's why I want the first games that I really Let's Play to be the ones that hit me the hardest. And that's kind of what I did. Because if you look back at my videos, you'll see Skyrim is going to... I had to start with Skyrim, not... Even though I wanted to save it for the end, but I physically couldn't, because I'm not going to wait until I'm like 20 to play a game that's going to take me 3 years to finish.
Exactly.
And,
never ending.
And I was like, I got to jump in it, even though that's number 0. Like, that's why it's 11, because it's 10 and Skyrim being the top of the top.
I see.
It's and I want to Let's Play The Last of Us. I want to do Assassin's Creed 3. I need to finish Saints Row 3. And I need to do Saints Row 4. And fucking Infamous Second Son. I want to get through all of those because I want to like bring that light back. And I feel that they're entitled to it. Because they kind of stuck through all my shit. And I need to fix that. And I just wish everybody kind of thought that way. It's just that maybe we are entitled to some things.
Yeah. And knowing when to recognize your own bias and entitlement can be a tough thing to do. Right?
It really can.
You have to have like some form of self-awareness to sort of look at yourself in the face and be like, are the claims I'm making, are the features that I'm hoping for and wishing for, like, too unrealistic? Am I asking too much out of people I don't even know? Like, and I think too, like, just allowing yourself to enjoy a game, whether or not it fits your pre-molded expectations, can do yourself a lot of wonder and a lot of joy. When you were a kid, right, and you went to the Walmart, and your parents are like, "Hey, pick any game you want," and then you picked a game based on the cover. Like, you had no expectations of what that game would be like or how it's supposed to control or whatever. You probably just picked the box art and you thought, hey, that looks cool. And then you put it in your console and you have a fun time with it, right? Like, there's no, oh, I sure hope it lives up to the standards of the Sonic franchise, or, oh, I sure hope it innovates off of this. Like, you're a kid, you don't fucking care. You just want to have fun. And very rarely now do we follow that attitude anymore. And now we've gotten, like, all super hyper serious with all our games when maybe we should just have fun.
Because when we were kids, the only thing that we were concerned about was if I'm actually going to be able to physically play it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's too hard, then I'm going to get pissed, but that's it.
We've gotten caught up in all this like game journalism, like, oh, this game has to have this and this in order to be good. Like, not necessarily. If they do their job right, you know, it doesn't need a particular feature to do well.
And it makes me feel bad because, like, gaming is a very expensive lifestyle.
Yeah, to say the least.
And we will go through all of these lengths to see the world through these characters and all that. And we don't want to feel entitled, but we know that that's what we are after a while. It's just that you make so much good, and we feel like if they don't, we don't have anything to look forward to anymore. Like, you have no idea how. Yeah, you have no idea how terrified I am of The Elder Scrolls 6. I'm extremely scared. Especially with after what happened to Fallout 4 and 76. I mean, what game?
What game? But, never heard of those.
Oh, yeah, I haven't. I don't know. Mandela Effect.
Yeah. we put them into existence.
We came from the alternate universe that didn't have anything after New Vegas.
Yeah.
Just Skyrim, but that's it. No more Fallout. But it's just I don't want to see that. I want to see. I hate saying this because I like all the Elder Scrolls games, but this is gonna sound so fucked up. I need to see Skyrim 2. Because
But do you need Skyrim 2? That's the question we need to get at here. There's a difference between wanting something out of a game and needing something out of a game. Because what you want might necessarily be what you need in a game.
I don't need Skyrim 2. I just want something like it.
Something like it. That's fair.
I need something. I need what Skyrim did to Oblivion. I want something to blow me out of the water and change things, but for the better, not for the worse.
So you don't want Skyrim 2. You want like the next logical step, basically. You want something even bigger and better.
And I only feel entitled to it because their luck hasn't run out yet.
That's true. You gotta strike while the iron's hot.
On the Elder Scrolls. No. Fallout's fucked. But
Fallout's done. They're canceled. Fallout.
They fell out.
Got him.
But it's different, and I don't know.
I do think part of the problem is we've gotten to the point in like this internet age where as soon as a trailer drops or as soon as we even see like an image or a logo, all these fucking like fan theories like swarm around, and then through like months and months of this sort of stuff, you kind of get some pre-established idea of what you hope the game is like, and then by the time they finally reveal it like 2 years later at an E3, you're like, hold on, this is not what I signed up for at all. But then you gotta think to yourself, you didn't sign up for anything. You just saw some internet theory and thought, yeah, that's totally what should happen. And then it didn't, and now you're disappointed because you led yourself down that wrong direction. And that's not necessarily our fault so much as like YouTube and games journalism of the Matt Pats of the world or whatever being like, oh, what if the game's like this or whatever. Like, we don't know. Right? We don't know. We should be fine with not knowing. But we need to know. We have to know. I'm guilty of this. Everybody's guilty of this.
I get you.
Like you can't tell me when you saw the Elder Scrolls like 6 logo with the mountain range or whatever, you didn't have like a million ideas swarming through your head of what it like possibly could be or should be.
I had one. Well, I had one.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just that I know where that was. That. So I know where the game takes place. That's it.
I see. That's fair.
I know it is one of 2 different places. I have a preference of one, but it's one of 2 different places. But some people theorize it's both.
Oh.
I believe that it's either Hammerfell or High Rock. But based off of where like that like quick teaser takes place,
yeah,
you can see Hammerfell in the desert. And you can see High Rock with the green. So they theorize that it's both. Hammerfell's where the black guys come from. High Rock is where the Manmer come from.
I know nothing about Elder Scrolls lore, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, well,
I don't know where
the reason
I
said, when we were joking earlier, and I said, you said gamer, and it was like a homosexual elf, it's because in like the Elder Scrolls, all of like the literal terms for wolf, like for elves, not like wood elf, high elf, and all that. Like they're like the Dunmer, the Brummer, and the other stuff. Because mer means elf, but Manmer are the Bretons because the Bretons were half man, half elf, essentially. But it's through a whole bloodline, so there's not just like a constant, hey, I'm an elf and I'm gonna fuck this lady.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Because they look very elfish, but they're not elfish enough, but that's why they're so good with magic.
You get a little bit give and take.
But that's where High Rock is, and I'm hoping for that because the Bretons are my favorite.
Mm-hmm. That's just like one example of like, I'm sure there's countless theories about like where all this shit's gonna be and where it's at.
100%.
As soon as we start getting a trailer, there's gonna be even more. Up until release date, we'll have all this expectation for it, and really, like, you can be that good guy who's going to be like, I'm not going to expect anything, and I'm just going to go in and have a fun time. Doesn't mean the internet isn't going to do it as well, right? Like, just because some of us do it, everybody else is going to regardless.
It just... We feel like if we don't get it, we're going to lose it.
Yeah.
And we're going to... Because there's times where things can't be redeemed.
Mm-hmm. And I don't condone, like, if it's a bad game, it's a bad game, right? Like, that's fine. You know.
But seeing a franchise fall hurts.
Yeah. And I guess... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just surprised that the Marvel movies haven't fallen.
Yeah, that's true. They've been at it for a long time.
Yeah.
But what you brought up was interesting. It's like, I do think it comes from a place of love, ultimately. And why I can't be too harsh on it is I think both entitlement and expectation comes from a place of like you said, like genuine joy, love, and fear that a franchise could potentially go out of your life, one that added so much to you, right, as a person. You feel like if it's gone, if something bad has happened to it, then that's basically the same as something bad happening to me. Like, we associate these games with ourselves. And that's crazy, but that's the impact games can have on you. And so it makes sense if, like, your favorite franchise is getting attacked, you yourself feel that same way. Which is probably where a lot of that expectation comes from.
You're really right. It just, like... And then it's even better when you don't expect anything and then you get, like, the world.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to explain this to you with only a sentence.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson's King Kong the game. My God, is that the best game ever?
I have not played it.
It's pretty hard to get your hands on. But, alright, so that would be on my list had I could figure out how to fucking record a PS2 game. And I've streamed it using, like, you know, the emulator, but it broke at the 3-hour mark, because I could beat that game in 5 hours, I'm serious. I used to be able to speed run through that game when I was, like, 7. And, like, it wasn't an easy game. I loved it that much that I learned how to beat it in 5 hours, because I knew that on weekends I'd really, like, sleep until 12 sometimes. So I would try my best to beat the game before sunset or before dinner.
Clean.
And I did, and it was so fun. And why would you expect anything from a movie adaptation?
Exactly, right? You have nothing going in.
It's built so well. Like, there's this level that's dedicated to a deleted scene in the movie.
Hey!
And it's annoying as shit, but it's fun. Like, and then all the actors from the movie play their characters.
Damn. That's a high cast, too.
Yeah, like, fucking,
high profile, I should say.
Yeah, like, Naomi Watts, and then, Adrian Brody? Yeah. And then some other people that I don't remember their names. But, Jack Black! Why did
How'd you forget Jack Black?
Right? But actual Jack Black, that's crazy, and he did it.
Damn.
I don't know, I just feel that it's a bit heartbreaking to see something you expected so much for not come well, but then it's more than uplifting to see something you expected nothing from to be way more than that.
Way more than you wanted, right? And that's cool. That's part of the joy of, like, indie games, I think, is just, like, how much can one guy do, right? Like, big deal, whatever. And you play and you're like, oh, holy shit, there's a lot.
Like, I'm just worried that our preferences are going to get a hold of us and we're never going to be able to enjoy other things.
Ever again, yeah.
I have to let's play a game that I can't stand.
Ooh.
Because Sydney's in it and that's good commentary. So, I hate Telltale and everything it stands for. But I'm let's playing Back to the Future. Mainly because I like Back to the Future.
Right, above all else.
But I hate point-and-click adventure games. I wish I could say why, other than I hate Telltale. Because I know why I hate Telltale. Their art style makes me uncomfortable. And it reminds me of another game that I hate, Borderlands.
You ever played Borderlands?
Don't.
I need to.
Don't.
I want to try it. I want to try it.
Hey kids, want to figure out what I'm going to say? No. It's a bad game.
Wow.
Borderlands bad.
Video game's bad.
But shit, I like how Zach shits all over like Twilight, and then he's okay. Do me a favor and look at my channel banner.
Okay.
Just go to my channel and you see.
Okay.
But we dedicate ourselves to these series and platforms to see that we're gonna get something from it. Like, look at Mario. Name one bad Mario game.
New Super Mario Bros.
It wasn't bad. It's not original.
I just don't like it. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm on your banner.
Look to the right.
Okay. What am I looking for exactly?
Alright, do you see Hayley Williams with her red hair?
Yes.
Look right behind her.
Hey, Twilight Boys. How you doing?
So we got from the right we have Ezra Miller, Logan Lerman, and Emma Watson in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. You have Hermione Granger, Harry Potter, and Ron Weasley right in front of them. Kristen Stewart, fucking Taylor Lautner, and one of the Robert Pattinson, Twilight, Hayley Williams, the Dovahkiin, Altair, Ellie, SSJ2 Gohan, Sam, Lydia, Marjak, Sydney.
You can go through the whole thing.
James, myself. Oh, I'm doing that. Yeah.
Not.
Jordan, Zach, yourself, Jones. Right behind you, Jones is Joel, and then you have Donovan, and then you have the Saints Row, the third protagonist, Faith from Mirror's Edge, Spider-Man, my boy, Lauren Mabry, from Churches, Trunks, fucking Miles Morales behind the Avengers, and then Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase.
Was it worth it?
Yes, it was very worth it.
Just for me to look at one thing so you could name everything off the banner.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm a real mad lad, but it just worries us. Like, there's these one shots in life that you don't really get to see often, and then they become bigger things, and you feel like sometimes they didn't have to happen, and sometimes they did happen. Because there's a reason I pointed out all this. You see Joel and Ellie in the background?
Yeah.
That is from my first favorite game of all time. Right before Skyrim. Right before it. Very important. That's The Last of Us. Naughty Dog made The Last of Us, and they said they didn't want to make a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Fans agreed, but after time went on, they didn't. They wanted the second one. Now, there was a very important reason they didn't want a second. The Naughty Dog didn't want to make one.
Right.
They felt that not only did the story tell what they wanted to tell, not only did it end right for them, they didn't want to ever ruin something that mattered that much.
That takes some nuts right there.
It really does, and the fact that they're making, oh, it's done actually. They're just waiting to drop it. Last of Us 2 is coming out soon. I'm excited for it, but I'm so scared because The Last of Us touched me in a way that I can't relate with many things. Like, Skyrim hit me in the idea of being my own person and going on my own adventure and getting lost and just having a journey and being great. The Last of Us hit me with something even harder than that.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, in like a narrative view, because that taught me about like family being bigger than blood, and then even in the worst of times, there can still be little moments that you cherish.
It's a very impactful game.
Then it worries me that.
Sorry, there's a dog.
Is it taking it in the ass? Like, what the hell?
No, she's just like at my door and she wants in here, and I'm like, no, I already have a dog in here. You can't.
Hey.
I do actually. So.
Oh, okay. So.
It's not rude.
That's why they didn't want to, but they're going to, and they look optimistic, and we all look optimistic, but we're still worried in the back of our minds that we're not going to get what we want, and that's all we want.
I almost wonder if it's a bit unhealthy to have that much of an expectation on like a piece of media at the end of the day, because like whether or not Last of Us 2 does bad, like life moves on. Naughty Dog still makes a ton of money. They have enough money to make a third or fourth or whatever. And granted, magic will be lost and like gamers across the world are ruined or whatever. But like at the same time, like nothing that bad changes. And at the very least, and this is the important part, like the first game touched you in an incredible way, and that's amazing, right? And that'll always be there. No matter how bad the second one is, or the third one, or the fourth one, like that first one is still always there and will touch you in a way that's fantastic. Right,
It'll
so
touch
like
me in a way that will make sure that if it ever moves to a new neighborhood, it has to notify all of its neighbors.
Exactly. Get a sexual harassment thing. But, like, seriously, we... It's a bit unhealthy to the point where, like, this game has to make or break, and if it doesn't, then everybody's going to be disappointed. Not necessarily. That first game's always going to be there, right? Nothing will change that drastically, but we don't view it that way. You know? We put so much stock and investment into this shit. To the point where there might be some health side effects, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just, it's a lot to unpack, and a lot to hope for.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we learned from that.
Sure. Good shit.
Real good shit. It just makes me think, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Will there ever be that perfect ending or beginning?
My money's on no. But
I mean, Shrek 2 is the perfect sequel, but...
That's true, but then we got Shrek 3 and 4.
Yeah, and those are quite shit.
Like, is there a video game trilogy out there that just as perfectly did the first game, second game, and third game on the same level of quality, did perfect the whole way out, had a great beginning, great ending, and just ended off, like, the best way it possibly could? I know several movies like that we could go to, but even in those examples, there's a weak link in there.
I can give you 2.5 games.
Okay.
Okay, so Mass Effect did it, but the ending was very unsatisfying.
Right.
To a lot of people. They thought the game was great, but the ending hurt.
Right. So that takes away from what I was going
Yes.
at.
Little Big Planet did well. It did amazing for the first two. This third one was good. It's just that due to all the bugs and then the lack of, like, full effort, killed it in the walk run.
Yeah.
So did the hackers, but that's not important.
But, like, was there ever that trilogy that followed through beginning to end? And, like, just perfect. I don't think there's one that exists. This is part of my point here.
There's gotta be something. I'm trying to think of game trilogies. That's the problem.
Right. There's always that weak link, though. I'm pretty sure, even with any example you
I can think of game series in general, though, but trilogy's just a weird number.
I guess. But, like...
I'm not talking about, like, long-standing series like, the Elder Scrolls. I just mean, like, closer to trilogies, but not, like, trilogies because I can't think of any.
I think the reason I just said trilogy was because, like, the first
Fable.
The first three. Oh, Fable?
Fable.
I haven't played those, so I wouldn't know. I don't hear enough about those games for me to
because they're
make a judgment.
It just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And you can't, you actually can't even buy their games anymore. You can get them off of Amazon, like, pre-owned or whatever, but you can't really, they don't sell them, or they don't process on the Steam store anymore.
Oh, and don't tell me Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's coming out. Because, like it or not, that game is more than just 3. If you really want to get everything.
Black and White.
Hmm.
Those games touch me too. Made by the same studio, actually. You know what Black and White is, right?
No.
Okay, so you're a god.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it already.
You literally play God, and you have a companion that is an animal. Like a giant fucking animal, right?
Okay.
And you're basically just a hand, but nobody can see your hand, so you get to control, like, where you put your cities and shit. You think of it as a city sim, but it really isn't, because it's bigger than that. Like, you can kind of control the people in their own right, too. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be a hunter, you're gonna be a lumberer. Yeah. You're gonna fucking be a soldier, and you're gonna take over these other ones, and you're trying to win over the world, and you can do it in a nice way or in a bad way. And you have the whole angel-devil conscious, except they're actually, like, existent. But, like, they're genuine entities, rather than just your conscience. And they kind of guide you either way. It's also weirdly psychologically terrifying, because when you type in your name, like, to make your profile, if your name is actually in a weird set list of names that they recorded earlier. At random times in the game, you'll hear them whisper it to see if you're going crazy.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a great game. I always liked playing God, but unfortunately there hasn't been anything like Black and White since Black and White. There's a lot of games that I feel like we deserved a sequel for, but were we entitled to it?
Not necessarily. I think there's an argument to be made that, like, one game can be so amazing that trying to add on to it is futile, and you're only going to get something worse, right? And the fact that, like, again, we don't appreciate the great game that we have because we want to move on to the next thing and expect something better. I can think of plenty, like, one great game, but very rarely do I, like, think of trilogies or, like, several games in a row that are great.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger, I mean, like, shoot, there's a bunch of, like, standalone games that are fantastic. But did they, like, need a sequel if they were already, like, perfect to begin with, you know? Not necessarily. And I think it's fine that we leave those games alone. And we don't try to pester them and be like, hey, make one in 2016 or whatever. Like, no, we got a lot out of it. Let it be.
Like, I'm at a point in time, right, where, like, I don't need a sequel. I just need you to remaster it.
Remasters I'm okay with. Remakes, whatever. Do whatever you want.
Because if I can play Black and White 2 again without having to buy the entire fucking box again, because I lost one of the CDs. Because, like, it worked. That game came out so long ago that you had to download it in multiple DVDs. Like, I think there's at least 4, and I can't find one. And that irritates me so much, because I love that game so much. So if I ever want to play it again, I have to buy it again. Which is a big pain in my ass, but it's not a big deal. It'd be worth it in the long run.
Definitely.
I just feel like we don't... There's a lot more to it that we want to see, but we know we shouldn't see.
Again, like Want versus Need.
Yeah, like Bulletstorm. Could is a great game. There's a lot of problems with it that I see now, but that's mainly just a time thing. Like, oh yeah, the loading screens take too long, or
Right.
the dialogue's a little weird. It's a great game. The action's funny. It's entertaining. It's a good time. But they left it alone. They left the ending ambiguous, but they left it alone. I just don't like it when games make you think you're gonna have more. And they
Right.
don't give it to you.
Yeah, if you're egging on a sequel and then don't do anything with it, like, I'm a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, entitlement or whatever you want to call it, I'm disappointed.
Unless you're M. Night Shyamalan and you start the Last Airbender movie with book 1, like you're gonna finish the series.
LOL.
That was funny as hell. If we watch that for movie night, I'll actually kill you.
I kind of want to. I've never seen it fully all the way through.
Okay, buddy. How did you ever watch the Last Airbender like TV show?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just if you were actually a fan,
Should probably kill myself.
yeah. So, fun fact, you know The Legend of Korra?
Yeah.
They made that because of that movie. They said the creators were like, okay, we're not letting our legacy end with that shit.
What a great idea.
Yeah, they were like, hey, we're gonna have a sequel series, and it's not gonna be as long, and it's gonna be decent, but actually Legend of Korra was pretty good, but we're not ending with that shit.
Spike can do a lot. A little bit of anger can go a long way.
It really can.
I think I've said all I can about this topic, unless you have anything else to add.
I just think it expresses more than just the games. It's just a whole life thing.
It's true. I mean, it goes into movies and comic books and all that sorts of shit.
Yeah, like it just is anything sacred?
I think
Like,
there should be, but
Yeah.
we definitely aren't like that.
Like,
Yeah.
there are bits and pieces of the world that should be left alone.
Appreciate what you have, man.
There
Yeah.
are things that maybe we shouldn't have, but it worked out. Like, okay, so I'm gonna start with this. My favorite comedy of all time is a 1980, I want to say 89 or 88, dark comedy by the name of Heathers.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
It's amazing, right?
It kind of freaked me the fuck out because I had no idea what it was supposed to be
Oh,
until like
yeah,
halfway through.
If you don't watch it thinking it's a dark comedy, it's really fucked up.
Yeah, I expected one thing and got kind of scarred, so I haven't watched it since.
Yeah, rewatch it, but know it's a dark comedy, and then you'll giggle. It because the jokes are pretty funny actually, but it's supposed to be filmed awkwardly, and the cinematography is great, but not important. So in 2014, I'm gonna say, they made it a musical, and it worked, and the musical's amazing, and they didn't leave it alone, but they left it and changed it to a point where it's their own, but it's still Heather's, and it's not wrong. Come 2018, Heather's the TV show. No.
Time to let this die.
So for context, it's the 80s. Everyone's shallow as shit. And let's see, we have super pretty. The entire theme of Heather's is pretty popular girls run the shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That is Heather's. You are pretty, you are popular, and you run the shit. And in the TV show, they try to modernize it to a point where it's not right anymore. Because you have the main Heather as some like, I apologize for my PC viewers, but she's fat. And wow. I get the whole body pride and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's not right for the character. And then you have a trans guy. Well, not a trans guy, but like a trans girl. I think you understand what I mean.
I got you.
So that, like I said, again, that's not right. Not saying it's not right. Oh God. So like be yourself, everyone. Like remember that. That's the important part. But that's not right for Heather's. And then the other one, well, I think it was McNamara. She's fine. She's just McNamara, so it doesn't matter. But those two I just mentioned, Chandler and Duke, they spun it to a point where it's not Heather's anymore. Because in Heather's, Heather Chandler and Heather Duke would have made fun of the people playing them now.
Probably.
Like, they berate this girl, Martha Dunstock, because she's fat, and call her Martha Dumtruck. And, like, in Sherwood, Ohio, they made sure that two guys dying looked like a suicide because they put mineral water in a bag, and they're like, oh, they're gay. It must have been a suicide pact. Yeah, it's not supposed to be PC because they're rich bitches who run the shit.
Very clearly.
And they shouldn't be relatable or modern. They should be as archaic as their attitude. And that's why it's wrong. And that's why if we were going to have a Heather's TV show, we were entitled to something better. That's something we were entitled to. And that I'm proud to say.
I'm not...
Like, let me just send you a picture.
Yeah, maybe do that.
That'll just clear things up. But sorry, it's just hitting me really hard. Just fucking thinking about it. They're supposed to be sadistic, rich girls who have the looks, and oh, that's perfect actually. It's a side by side.
Ayy.
So there's supposed to be these perfect rich girls who have the looks and everything that they could ever dream of because they are rich, white, and beautiful. And so perfect that nothing can take them down. Except for Veronica. Veronica's on the far right. That angle does not suit her at all, but remember, Winona Ryder is a fox.
True.
To this day, too. I'm proud to say that. But, just look at that picture.
Yeah. You got a point.
It's wrong.
A little bit.
They're not supposed to be modern and relatable. They're supposed to be stark, crude, and evil, like themselves. Except for McNamara, the one in the back, the yellow one. She's just a sweetheart. She's just really dumb and confused. Yeah, it's weird. Everybody's like, all the Heathers are bitches. Like, no, just the first two. Like, McNamara just kind of chills there, and she's the leader of the cheerleading team, and she's just tired and stupid. That's it. But it irks me that they do that. And sure, cast whoever you want in a part. Like, that's fine. But it's just the little stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm not saying...
that up.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you have to be white, because whitewashing is a thing. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, and like if you're playing, a thing that actually was before, but there are little things that just aren't right if you're trying to sense something again. Like color coding is a big deal to Heathers. Like if you're each character has their color. Right. If you were trying to make yellow green, people would notice, and they wouldn't stand for that. Not one bit, because it's not right. You can be different. You can be original, but we deserve to care for the original.
I think it's safe to assume that if you're adapting, whether it be a comic book or an older TV show, an older movie, or remaking an older game, that we are to expect at least some form of effort and respect to the original. But I also think there is a bit of room for creative liberties in there. I think the problem with this is the idea of some bullying skanky school bitches or whatever doesn't fly in a 2018 world, or at least the version of it that they're looking for isn't safe for TV and didn't go that route, unfortunately. Because bullying in 2018 has really evolved to a point where you can make an entire show off of that, and that'd be funny to watch. But turning the bullied into the bulliers, I don't think is the right way to going about it. But yeah, we are in some respects entitled to at least some form of effort or respect when it comes to translating an original property. I think there is a little bit of a fine line, though, of letting creators create and try new stuff with their franchise. I just think the example you brought up didn't do a good job, at least with the choices they made. But it depends on project to project, so.
There's just a right and a wrong way to do a lot of things.
That's true.
And when you can be optimistic and you can try new things, but there is a level of new things that shouldn't be.
Right. Especially when it contradicts what the original was going for is the problem, right?
Yes.
If you don't know what makes something great, you don't adapt it,
Very true.
You don't let a guy who doesn't like Superman make a Superman movie. Oops. My bad.
You don't let a guy who's never watched an episode of Dragon Ball make a Dragon Ball oops.
It's like there's 1,000 of those examples. Weird.
You don't let a guy who's never watched an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender make an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Oops! Sorry, I'm a bit irritated by that. But there's just a little bit of everything that we don't look at that should have been looked at. And it worries me that they won't give it the time of the day.
Right.
because there are these little bits of it that really, really matter, that makes it what it was. And that's what we grow up with. That's what we're entitled to. We're entitled to similarity. We're not entitled to the same. We just need something that is close enough. We just crave attention for it. We don't crave the same thing. We just care because you cared enough to try it again.
Right, like, or if the idea is different enough and it doesn't, like, work with the original source material, you make it a new thing and you move on, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to do weird fucking, fat girl bully or whatever, do that. And make it into your own fun thing.
You got weird fucking fat girl bully.
Yeah, watch it on TBS. Your TBS original weird fat girl bully. Like make it a
Death
new
Note.
thing, right? There's no need to attach something like that when clearly the only intention is for marketing and to get butts in seats and not because you actually cared, right?
Like Death Note the movie.
Yeah.
If it said inspired by, or like it takes place in the same, they could have even said it just took place in the same universe as Death Note.
Yeah.
Would have been okay. Like look at how they took that movie, right? Just imagine the characters were original, like their names were original.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be an okay movie?
It'd be better than what we got.
It was like if you take away what we know from Death Note, it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a good movie. It was an okay movie. And you see that because they're like, okay, so we're gonna be you're light fucking American last name. That's a good start, isn't it? I'm like, no, too far. You can't do that. That's a big change. You can't change someone's name. What the hell is wrong with you? You can't change the setting. That's weird. What the hell are you doing? All they had to do was say in the same universe as Death Note, and then we'd be satisfied. We'd be like, ooh, a new concept, but with the same idea. That's tight. Fuck yeah, let's go for it.
That's true.
But we didn't need great value.
Yeah.
That's what matters to me.
There's definitely a conversation in there talking about adaptation that I don't want to quite get into because that's a whole nother spiel.
That'd be interesting. That would be an interesting.
That would be. But like, as far as entitlement and expectation, I see what you mean by the Heather's example.
So what is the consensus on entitlement and expectation?
I think there's a few takeaways. Number one, enjoy what you have, right? If there's some great game experiences and the games that you love, enjoy those games, right? And number two, be open to the possibility that, like, number one, a sequel doesn't have to happen, and number two, if it does, that you should be open to the fact that it could be new and interesting, right? Because the second you stop expecting everything is the second you can actually start enjoying things again. And then the third and final one that I got from this was just, if you're going to adapt something, anything, note that there will be fans of the original who expect a certain level of decency and respect, and that you have to be very careful when doing stuff like that. Because, and this is, I guess, the fourth takeaway, the reason we care about any of this stuff is because we have an attachment to it. That's the whole reason entitlement and expectation is a thing, is we have this attachment and a love for it. Because media is important. Media matters. Sometimes we just get a little too carried away with it. But yeah, that's what I got.
I truly agree.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
This is a good.
We definitely should do stuff like this more often.
Yeah, I had a fun time.
So did I. Well, I can already hear Sydney making fun of me for making a podcast. Because after I told her that Nerdception was a thing, she wouldn't shut up. For a while, actually. She bullied me for a long time. Hashtag Parker gets bullied by his girlfriend, so make sure that you pay me money so I can afford a divorce lawyer.
LOL.
So, I need to upgrade my model of lady. Can you help me?
Can I upgrade?
I'm trying to get me a Samsung LG lady.
LOL.
Yes, everyone, we need to associate women with phones once more.
Make women phones 2018. 2019,
Oh
my bad, new year. Ooh. Look at me.
Too.
You're the co-host again, my guy.
I do indeed hope you enjoyed The Other Side of the Fence, where we take a look at the other side of the fence, I guess. Because there is a side to everything. There is a story behind every situation, and we can acknowledge that there are faults and there are strengths to everything, even when it's quite shit.
I love it when you made that shit up on the spot.
I really did, but it worked, did it not?
At the beginning of the podcast was like, yeah, don't expect anything, and now it's, we take a look at the other side of the story or whatever. Yeah, even though we had 2 topics. And that didn't work out.
Yeah, because we didn't realize that we could actually talk about one thing that long.
Yeah.
That's why.
Fourth wall breaks we will get to. Don't worry if you wanted to hear that. That'll be another episode.
It 100% will be.
Yeah.
So, to do your outro.
Oh, yeah. If you want to find me, I'm made into Bluecouchproductions. You can Google me in the YouTubes and find some videos. I got a new series, Back to the Video Games. Take you back to the games that matter. It's my new highly produced weekly show. Not this past week, but I don't know whenever this is going out anyway. Just find my channel. I'm BluecouchYT on Twitter if you want to listen to me tweet about shit, talk about video games. I'm on a bunch of podcasts, and I like creating stuff. So thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah.
I am Karionyte Gaming. You can call me Parker, Kari, Cage, or anything of the sort. You've probably seen me somewhere before. And if you want to find more of both of us at the same time, go to the Lion's Honor, because that's where the shit is. That is the shit, quite literally.
You want to be inducted into an actual gang? We got you covered. Go over to Lion's Honor Gaming.
Become the chain gang. I'm gonna go make sure I slightly alter the Lion's Honor Gaming channel banner and just add a little chain around it.
That'd be pretty epic.
They know that we own them, motherfuckers. I don't care if Zach's in charge. I'm in charge now. Chain gang #1.
Real quick, as far as this podcast in the future, I just want to say, there's no schedule to this. Don't expect like an episode every week or whatever. This is literally me and Parker have time to record something. We want to do a podcast. So if you see more episodes, that's great. If it takes a while for the next one to come out, that's okay too. There isn't a schedule to any of this. We're literally just hanging out and having fun, and we hope you enjoy it along the way. Just wanted to get that out there. Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see you next time. I have been Karionyte Gaming.
I've been Aiden Matthews.
And I should have said my actual name.
I should have said Bluecouchproductions. I fucked up too. Whatever.
God damn it. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye. And...